All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at a huge showdown in the world of AI development. You've got the established champion, Cursor, facing off against a really hot new contender. We're talking about AI coding assistants, and we're going to see who comes out on top.
So for a while now, if you're a developer using AI, Cursor has probably been your go-to. It's kind of been the king of the hill. But now, this new app Windsurf is making some serious waves. People are talking, and a lot of them are saying it might even be better. So that's the big question we're digging into today. Is it actually better?
Okay, so before we throw them into the ring together, let's get properly introduced to this newcomer that's stirring up all this excitement.
So here are our two contenders. In one corner, you've got Cursor. It's the established pro, the one a lot of you probably already know, maybe even use daily. And in the other corner, you have Windsurf, the exciting up-and-comer that's got everybody talking.
Now, before we start picking them apart, you got to know they actually share the same DNA. Both of these tools are what you'd call VSCode forks. All that means is they're built on top of the super popular Visual Studio Code editor. So right away, they're going to look and feel pretty familiar. But the real battle, the magic ingredient, is in the unique AI features they've each built right in. That's where the competition really heats up.
All right, round one. Let's talk about ease of use. I mean, how easy is it to just jump in and get started with these things? How intuitive are they right out of the box?
Okay, right off the bat, Windsurf throws a really interesting punch. Its main AI feature has this simple but honestly brilliant little toggle, write or chat. And why is that so cool? Well, sometimes you don't want the AI to write a bunch of code for you, right? You just need to ask a quick question like, hey, how does this thing work again? Making that distinction super clear from the get-go, that's a really smart design choice. But here's where it gets really different, especially in the workflow. Windsurf, it's almost like it holds your hand through the process. First, it automatically scans your entire project. Then it figures out on its own which files need to be changed. And finally, it walks you through those changes step by step. It's this very guided, kind of hands-off approach. That's a huge contrast to Cursor, where you're often the one who has to tell the AI, hey, look at this file and this file over here.
And this really sums it all up. This is a quote from Moritz Krem over at Prompt Warrior, who said, "The Windsurf UI feels easier and more intuitive to use, especially for coding beginners." You know, it's hard to argue with that. So for round one on ease of use, the point definitely goes to the newcomer, Windsurf.
Okay, but a user-friendly interface is one thing. What about the actual output? You know, the code itself. That brings us to round two, code quality. Let's be real, this is what really matters. Which tool actually writes better, more reliable code?
So to put this to the test, the review set up a simple head-to-head challenge. The task was to clone an application using what are called copy coder prompts. Basically, a straightforward test to see which tool could replicate an app more effectively.
And the results here? They were pretty black and white. Cursor just crushed it. It delivered a more complete, fully functional app, and get this, with 0 errors. Windsurf, on the other hand, its app was less complete and it actually threw up several errors that needed to be fixed. This is super interesting because it shows that even if they're using similar AI models under the hood, the way Cursor has implemented it just produces higher quality code, at least in this test.
All right, so we're tied up 1 round apiece. That means we're heading into the final round, and this one hits close to home for all of us. It's all about the price tag. How much are these things going to cost?
Okay, so both tools are actually pretty cool about this. They each have a free plan, which is awesome. It gives you a limited number of uses of their best AI models, but they're kind of slow. If you're doing serious work and you need speed and top quality, you're probably going to want a pro plan. And here, the plans look almost identical. Both give you 500 fast requests a month to the really good AI models like Claude Sonnet.
But here's the bottom line. It all comes down to the monthly price. Cursor's Pro plan will set you back $20 a month. Windsurf comes in a little cheaper at just $15. Now, that's not a huge difference, but $5 is $5, right? So, on price alone, this round goes to Windsurf for being the more budget-friendly option.
So, that's 2 rounds to 1 for Windsurf. It seems like we have a clear winner, right? Well, not so fast. The story is actually a little more complicated than the score suggests. Let's break down the final verdict.
Look, at the end of the day, there isn't one single winner for everybody. It really is a split decision, and it all comes down to who you are and what you need. If you're a beginner or just want something that's super easy to get started with, Windsurf is your best bet, no question. That gentle learning curve and guided workflow are perfect. But if you're a professional and your main focus is building production-ready, high-quality code, Cursor is still the champ. It gives you more control, it demands a bit more from you, but as we saw, it delivers more reliable results.
So, the takeaway today is that the best tool really depends on you. But let's be honest, this whole AI space is moving at lightning speed. These tools are learning and evolving constantly. So the real question isn't just who won today, it's who's going to win the next round. Will it be one of these two, or will a brand new challenger show up? That's the really exciting part and something we'll all definitely be keeping an eye on.